My name's Donna Williams. I'm the board secretary of Voices of Change. I'm happy to welcome Erin Hannigan. Could you say hello to our happy audience?
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for meeting up with me. Um, so could you maybe give us some background on your relationship with Voices of Change in 20th to 21st century music in general?
Sure. I have always really loved performing contemporary music and have even commissioned a couple pieces. And I love bringing them to life. The Mozart concerto, pieces like that, they're amazing pieces of the repertoire, but they're just more set in a certain uh, style of performance, a certain, this is how the Mozart concerto needs to be played, things like that, which is wonderful in its own right. But I also like bringing something to life that doesn't have such a standard. And, there's just more room to have personality shine through. I started performing with Voices of Change shortly after moving to Dallas. I've been here now 20 years and have performed on and off for this wonderful organization during that 20 years. And it's always a really great experience and a wonderful opportunity to explore some repertoire that perhaps I would not have had a chance to explore through, my normal orchestral repertoire or solo repertoire, things like that.
What are some other pieces you've performed with voices or just in your solo work that you've done? Small ensemble, whatever.
Last year, I did what was the sonata that I did for oboe and piano with Anastasia Markina. Anastasia Markina. I'm going to have trouble remembering which sonata that was, but that was just last year. A wonderful piece, and it was such a great opportunity. That was on my list of pieces to play for literally probably 3 decades, and I finally was able to bring it to life. Um, I just this past year performed a brand new oboe quartet written by Jeremy Gill. So for oboe, violin, viola, cello. Uh, and that's probably my most recent commission slash brand new bringing piece of music to brand new ears, brand new everything uh, experience.
Do you have any particular favorite ensemble type you like to be with, or electronics, or anything like that?
I during the pandemic, I don't know that this is my favorite, but I learned this piece for oboe and boombox,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a great time with it. I'm gonna actually see if Maria maybe could make some room for it on a future Voices of Change concert. We'll see, but it's uh, it's called The Garden of Love, and it's based on the poem Garden of Love. And it just is this incredible interaction between the oboe and the boombox. There's a lot of um, very interesting sounds, and it's amazing how it all kind of came together. And it just an incredibly cool piece. I performed it on my at-home recital through DSO. If anyone wants to hear it, I think that at-home recital is still up on the DSO Facebook page.
That's really interesting. It's I in my own teaching, I keep bringing up how technology is an inherent part of music and how music develops in any culture, anywhere on the planet. And as things are developed or things change or things are invented, you'll see that in the music, whether it's the 808 in dance music and hip hop, or being able to carry your boombox around. And when you say boombox, you mean is it a recording? Is it something recorded that you're reacting to, or are there sounds being made from it? Like, is there a drum machine component or something? Just
It's an
curious.
actual recording.
Makes
So
sense.
you just slip a CD into the boombox and play along with that. So it's already a set kind of. I hate to call it accompaniment because it's just so interactive.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, I get that.
yeah.
Are there any composers in general you like? Anybody you're really excited about lately?
Contemporary composers is
Anything? It's up to you.
anyone. Well, my all-time favorite composer is J.S. Bach,
Hmm.
which is the opposite of what we're talking about currently. But there's just incredible, but not total opposite. I mean, you can
No.
hear contemporary pieces and ideas of Bach are interwoven, and
Yeah.
that's always fun for me to hear something like that. But all-time favorite, J.S. Bach. Brahms is a very close second.
Okay.
And then any contemporary composer, I'll give anyone a chance because there are just so many amazing ideas out there, and I wanna hear you know modern stuff. I want to hear modern ideas reflected in music.
Mm.
That's the kind of stuff that excites me most.
Yeah. And it's cool to me, like the modern stuff ends up actually showing you the connections to the older things and not just European art music, but to the music all over the planet. Excuse me. Um, and it'll make you smile to know that my students who are very into hip hop tend to like Bach.
Yeah, I'm
There's
not
a
surprised.
connection, there's a strong connection there. Just
Yeah,
like when you have people who like Strauss and Stravinsky, often there's connection with like heavy metal, like Dream Dream Theater and things like that. So over
yeah,
my years teaching, working with younger people, there's these very, very consistent connections I see.
that is so cool. I
It
love
is.
that.
Mhm. Um, so tell us about your piece that you're playing is the collision etudes.
It is, yes.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
Composed by Alyssa Morris, who
Mhm.
she's an oboist herself.
Oh,
She
okay.
also is a professor. So she's an oboe teacher, uh, and I think she also teaches composition at the school. I'm trying to remember what school she teaches at in Kansas. But she just writes wonderful stuff, and I had heard about her for a long time, but it wasn't until the pandemic that I sat down and ordered some solo pieces, ordered some music that has been on my radar for a long time. I finally had the time to sit down and learn it.
Mhm.
So, Collision Etudes is one of those pieces. Uh, I just dug into it immediately because it doesn't require anything but an oboe. And unless I was trying to connect with students with a certain app that'll let us play at the same time, um, I needed to just be working on solo rep. So this piece came in the mail, and I'd been working on the Silvestrini Etudes for oboe, solo oboe, which are wonderful, based on paintings of various men. There are 6 etudes, and they're all based on paintings of various men. And then when I got Alyssa Morris's piece, I realized only then that it was kind of a partner. It was a reactionary piece, a partner piece, because her etudes are based on 6 paintings by female American painters. So I thought that was very cool that she just made this partner piece, and then I was incredibly excited as I worked on them at the depth. There's so much depth in the music, so much color. You're gonna hear the oboe do things you probably have never heard the oboe do before. Multiphonics and, all straight out just jazz riffs and things like that. It's not your typical, classical oboe fare. So that was also a challenge because it just kind of took me from what I'm used to doing to just kind of opening the door and having a great time with these really amazing pieces.
And can you talk a little bit, what makes them etudes for those who aren't familiar? An etude is consider, the word kind of has to do with study,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to play something. So what makes these pieces etudes? What is being studied, let's say?
Well, I think what she says about the piece herself, I just was reading over these notes again. She says America is a melting pot, a beautiful collision of cultures and beliefs. Collision Etudes highlights a collision of contemporary art styles while bringing awareness to several significant female American artists. So they're etudes on several levels. They're etudes on a musical level in
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to hear the oboe. I think I pretty much cover it's my entire range from a low B flat to a high G sharp. An oboe can go up to an A, or it's a squeak that sounds something like an A, but it covers the entire range of the instrument. It covers so many different styles of playing. Like I said, there's jazz, there's a very meditative movement called rainbow. But then it also uh, is an etude of life. So you're studying all these different stylistic uh, characteristics of these American artists. I don't know if there will be any of the images, uh, at the concert of the paintings, like Summertime, City Landscape, Joan Mitchell, Georgia O'Keeffe, Alma Thomas. I don't know that there are going to be any of the images, but if there aren't, I'd recommend pulling them up on your phone, because you're going to see the colors of the images as you hear the music. So these are definitely etudes slash studies of color, of music, of life.
Very cool. Thank you for that. Finally, could you talk a bit about your relationship with the oboe? How did you come to the oboe and the types of music that maybe drew you to the instrument? I work a lot in jazz in my area of teaching, and it's always interesting which instruments are considered to be jazz instruments as opposed to the idea of jazz being a method of playing as opposed to a certain instrumentation. But can you talk about that, please?
Sure, yeah. Well, I started very young on the oboe. It's kind of unusual. I started when I was 7.
Mm.
Um, and I don't know that I was really listening to anything at that point that drew me to the instrument, but I was trying to figure out what to play, and my dad said, I've always really liked the oboe. Why don't you try that? And I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up in the dictionary, and I just thought, hey, I might as well give it a try.
Mhm.
And there was a teacher, a woodwind teacher, my parents knew, who allowed me to try the oboe. So I got a sound out of it, which apparently was a big deal at age
Yes.
7.
Mhm.
And then I just launched into it and took to it. Kind of matches, my personality. Kind of, it just was one of those instant fits. And then I decided by the time I was in 7th grade, I don't know that I knew what it meant, but I decided I wanted to do something with the oboe for the rest of my life as a career. So it all kind of happened fast, and I just stayed in that vein, and the rest is history.
Mhm.
I feel very fortunate that it all worked out.
Yeah, and where did you go to school, and where were your first positions with the oboe?
I went to Oberlin for my undergraduate degree, studied with James Caldwell, who is an incredible teacher of the oboe and of life. Um, I learned so much during those 4 years, and am so glad that's where I landed for my undergraduate degree. And then I went to the Eastman School of Music for my master's degree. And right before, with Richard Kilmer, another just incredible teacher. He's still one of my mentors. I check in with him on a regular
Yeah.
basis, and again, just a life teacher. I landed in 2 really wonderful places. Um, the day before I started my master's degree, there was an audition for second oboe in the Rochester Philharmonic, and I took it mainly for experience, but
Yeah.
ended up winning it,
Oh,
which was like the most fortuitous thing that could have happened, because it was like on the job training. And I spent 7 years there, and then started to take auditions again. Uh, Won an audition in Milwaukee Symphony, but then won the Dallas Symphony job 2 weeks later. So I came here. Um, and I'm so glad I did, because the Dallas community has been incredible, and especially during this time of COVID, so much support, and we've been able to keep going, and so many communities can't say that. So I feel blessed with every step of this musical journey.
well, I'd like to I thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience? This will most likely be on the Voice of the Change website. So is there anything you would like to share?
I just can't wait to bring these pieces to life for the audience. And like I said, I would recommend that you look at the paintings as you listen, because it's such a wonderful thing when you have a partnership of visual and aural, because they complement each other. You're gonna be hearing things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise hear um, while you're looking at the paintings, or you're going to see things in the paintings you may otherwise not see because you're listening to this music. I think she does an amazing job of partnering these different art forms. I've always been a very big cheerleader of partnering art forms. Um, One of the things I've done since coming to Dallas was starting a nonprofit called Artists for Animals, which brings artists together to raise money for rescue organizations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And one of my main goals with this has been to partner different art forms. So we've had balloon artists, doing balloon twist art while being accompanied by an oboe sonata. Or we've had dancers of all kinds of different genres with classical, partnered with classical music. We've had, a jazz, hip hop flutist, one of those beatbox
Hmm.
performances, all those kinds of things, and it's been so wonderful. It's just something I've always really loved. So bringing these etudes to the audience, I'm going to be trying to paint those images with sound.
And the name of your charity again is, for anybody who's, is there a contact, is there a website for it or anything?
Artistforanimals.org, or actually artistforanimals.tx.org.
Okay.
Yes.
If you not, hopefully send some people your way. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Exciting, thank you. And I'm an animal lover. I lost my little friend not too long ago, so
Oh,
and she was a rescue. Yeah,
I'm so
so
sorry.
thank you. I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in rescuing.
Oh, yeah. I have three. One was born, I was fostering her mom, and she was one of eight born in my house. And then I have a 13-year-old pit bull who was a foster, and he's just so difficult that I decided he just needed to stay with me
Hmm.
because he's special needs in
Yeah.
the personality department.
Hmm.
And then I have a Siamese cat who I rescued from a storm drain at Costco. So,
The way we get our families. Mhm.
yeah.
Which is the one that's kind of dark and brown, like black brown? Which one?
The dark one is Joe Feel, who is the foster shepherd. Yeah,
Okay.
she's a shepherd border collie mix.
I
And
mean, which cat? You have a dark cat.
oh, that's Gabby. That's my Siamese.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
she
when we,
was the one from Costco.
oh, because she was the one when we started who was by the lamp. So
Yeah,
when you see the video, you had a friend for a while. Yeah.
she loves Zoom. She thinks it's like the meaning of life, but
Uh,
she also sometimes likes to attack me on Zoom. So I'm glad she didn't do that.
yeah.
We'll see.
Something outside was very interesting, and I was trying to look at you, but I kept looking at the cat.
Yeah, she's got a relationship with a squirrel out there. They visit each other every day.
That
So
that was probably it. Which is
yeah,
great. All right,
yeah.
so thank you so much for spending this great afternoon with
Hey,
us.
you too. Thank you, and you have a great day.
You too. You take care.
You
And
too.
thanks for tomorrow. And I'll see you at the concert on March 7th, I believe, right?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.